Jesus, my storm. I realize you let me go through it so that you could bring me out.
Middle Georgia. Welcome to our Saturday morning power, praise, and prayer lineup. The Greater Elizabethboro Missionary Baptist Church of Macon, where Reverend Derek Dumas is the lead servant every Saturday at 11 a.m. on 980 a.m. WDDO, The Glory. Middle Georgia. WDDO 980 AM is proud to welcome NAACP President Gwinnett Middlebrooks and Vice President Willie Dumas for their weekly broadcast every Monday from 4 until 5 p.m. on The Glory, 980 AM WDDO. Craving some fresh, wholesome Southern-style cooked food? Then come on down to Meemaw's, 4254 Mumford Road in Macon, to satisfy those Southern urges. They offer a variety of meats from oxtails to chitlins, good old-fashioned sides such as macaroni and cheese with fresh collard greens. And don't leave without trying their homemade sweet potato pies and that famous banana pudding. You won't be disappointed. They're open Thursday through Sunday from noon until 6 p.m. Come on down and check them out. 478-227-7944. Meemaw's, 4254 Mumford Road in Macon. Be sure to check out On With Don. On With Don, weekdays from 11 a.m. until 3 p.m. with the best in gospel music on 980 a.m. WDDO, The Glory. A life is a precious one, so discover a funeral service as unique as the life your loved one lived. Bentley & Sons Funeral Home has served the Middle Georgia community since 1975, providing exceptional funeral and cremation services. This is a time to honor and celebrate your loved one. Don't wait. Plan ahead. Choose Bentley & Sons Funeral Home to bring remembrance, healing, and hope. DeAndre Bentley, family and staff wants you to experience a funeral service that celebrates the life of your loved one. In loving memory of our founder, we carry the legacy of the late Calvin James Bentley. Our location expansion is designed to be convenient for you. 1039 Sherling Drive in Macon, 526 US 341 in Roberta. Their telephone number is 478-836-3311. 327 Highway 80 in Jeffersonville. Their telephone number is 478-945-6600. And the main campus is at 2714 Montpelier Avenue in Macon. So call them today at 478-742-0952. That's 478-742-0952. Bentley & Sons Funeral Home. We serve those who love in memory.
We've been practicing law a long time. We may be a little short on catchphrases and catchy telephone numbers, but we sure have helped a lot of people. If you got a legal problem, call us. We may be able to help you.
Come on out of your belly. Come on. This is not a show. This is not something we do to impress you. This is not something we do so that folk can like us. We do it because we want God. Oh yeah, that's it.
I am the Lord that healeth thee.
Come on, there's healing taking place.
I am the Lord, your healer.
Oh yes.
I send my word
Heal your
and
disease.
heal your disease.
Oh, yalalabande.
I am the Lord,
Your
healer.
Come on, say it again, Jen.
I am the Lord that healeth thee. I am the Lord, your healer. I send my word and heal your disease. I am the Lord, your healer.
Connecting the community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W300EB, Macon, and WDDO 980 AM, Perry, Macon.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Ask Elaine, better ask Elaine. Ask Elaine, better ask Elaine. Ask Elaine, better ask Elaine. Ask Elaine, better ask Elaine.
Okay. Well, y'all, I guess you know it's Wednesday. And since we're here and it's 3:00 and we're on WDDO 980 and 107.9, it's Ask Elaine. Thank you so very much for tuning in. Not only can you listen to us on radio 980 AM, but you can also listen to us on FM 107.9. And then we're here live on visual radio, visual screen here. And so we are just so happy to have you here. We want you to share. If you're on Facebook Live, please share to remind your friends and family and everybody that we are on the air. We've got some very special guests today. And, you know, you never know who we're going to have on this show. So you have to tune in every week and you have to remind your friends to tune in. But we have two special guests today, and we're going to keep it a little bit of a secret for a minute. And see, we're getting calls already. Let's see who's calling us, what they have to say, and then we'll introduce our special guests. Good afternoon, Ask Elaine.
Miss Lucas, this is yours truly, David Lucas.
This is who?
David Lucas.
Are you the David Lucas that I've been married to for 45 years tomorrow?
I am the one.
You're the one. All right, then. What do you have to tell us?
I want to tell everybody that there's a reapportionment hearing at Macon State College at Building 12, which is the theater, from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock tonight. And we're going to talk about drawing lines, and especially lines have to be drawn in Macon for the Bibb County Commission and folks in the area who are drawing lines for city council and county commission. The reapportionment.
Okay, so tell us again the time, the location, all of that.
Macon State College in Building 12, which is a theater, and the time is from 6 to 8. And we are going to be talking about how lines are drawn, reapportionment, and especially dealing with the Black community to make sure that we are represented well and that we have the right to elect our elected officials.
Right. Who is sponsoring the meeting?
The Georgia Legislative Black Caucus and GABIO, the Georgia Association of Black Elected Officials.
Okay, and this is a free event. This is a public information opportunity for each of you. If you're concerned that you haven't gotten all the information that you need to feel secure in the information, you can come to this meeting. And it's Middle Georgia State University. It used to be Macon Junior College when I came out of high school and went out there, and then it became Macon State. But it's on the west side, Middle Georgia State University, and it's in the theater.
It's in the theater, Building 12.
Building 12. And the time, once again?
From 6 to 8 o'clock.
6 to 8. So I saw quite a few people over at the Mercer Medical School a couple of weeks ago. But if you're still interested, you want to share information, will people be allowed to address the group?
Yes, that will be a list, and you sign up, and you can express your opinion.
Okay. All right. Senator, thank you so much for calling in and reminding everybody that this is another opportunity at citizenship, at being a first-class citizen. And with everything that's going on and with the impact of redistricting, reapportionment, everybody ought to be there. So this evening at Middle Georgia State University. So you're invited by Senator Lucas and the other legislators to come, to be there, to give your input, to get information. And so you need to be there. Anything else you want to tell everybody?
No, I just want to thank everybody for their support. And we're trying to get through this year's reapportionment with all of the voter suppression laws that have been passed.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. But this is one more opportunity for information. Thank you, Senator.
All right, thank you.
And happy anniversary tomorrow.
Same to you.
All right.
You have to remind them, about gifts and stuff like that. They tend to forget sometimes, especially after a lot of years, but some don't. I bet Reverend Colbert does. He doesn't ever forget that. He doesn't. Well, okay, he won on a million. But that's good. That's good. I'm kidding. The senator doesn't forget either. He always does something nice. And so we want to thank everybody for your well wishes too. But let me get back to this. We want to greet you one more time. We want to thank our sponsors for always helping us to stay on the air. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor, give me a call, and we would be happy to have your help in helping to keep this program on the air. We want to express our condolences to all those families who have lost loved ones. One in particular that I know of, and it's the Wynn family. And Maria Wynn and her brothers and sisters are very good friends of ours. And we want to express our condolences in the loss of Maria's son, Tim Wynn. We also want to express condolences to all other families in the loss of their loved ones. Because we call a name or two does not in any way take away from the sorrow that we feel and the condolences that we're expressing to all families who are suffering loss. And we want to remind you one more time that Senator Lucas has invited you to Middle Georgia State University this evening for a redistricting hearing. You will get an opportunity to talk about what you would like to see in redrawn maps for electing different groups of people to elected offices. I want to mention one other thing. Mayor Miller has joined with me in co-sponsoring what we're calling Irene's Law. And we named it that in honor of a lady who lost her life a couple of weeks ago over on the east side, Miss Irene Stubbs. And she lost her life in an area that was not well lit. It was an area where there were no sidewalks. She was coming home late at night from a convenience store near her apartment complex. She was run over, and unfortunately, she did not survive. Um, and we are saying enough is enough. There are some things that we can make some corrections to keep this thing from continuing to happen. We have people who are run over and seriously injured or killed. It just looks like all the time. And so what we're going to join together to do is to sponsor legislation that will call for an evaluation of lighting in that area, and also for a sidewalk or sidewalks to be placed in that area near Northeast High School, where many of our young people have to walk without a sidewalk to their school each morning. And so this is a matter of life and death. And so we're calling it Irene's Law. And we've already gotten several other commissioners who've agreed to co-sponsor this legislation, and hopefully it will be on the agenda in the next week or so, and we can start looking at not just that particular area that's too dark and dangerous, but all areas of our county where we need additional lighting and sidewalks. And you know where those areas are. You know exactly where they are. We all know areas that we travel through and we say, oh, it's so dark in here, and then you've almost hit somebody from time to time, and it has nothing to do with what they're wearing or anything like that. It's that there are some unsafe places for traveling in Macon, and we're encouraging people to walk. Our children, we're encouraging them to walk for exercise, and if they're close to a school within, I think it's there's a certain distance that they don't have bus transportation provided, so they either walk or they're brought in the car. Some children's families don't have cars. Many of our families in Macon-Bibb County do not have their own personal vehicle. And so they must use their feet or the transit system. But while they're on our streets, then we need to make sure that it's as safe, as well lit with sidewalks as possible. So that's what I wanted to tell you about Irene's Law. We've already had a couple of hundred people to sign a petition in favor of Irene's Law. So if you're interested in signing, just give me a call and we'll work that out. One final thing before we go to our special guest, the graduation ceremony for EL High School will take place on Saturday, August 28th. Just a couple of weeks away at historic Stewart Chapel AME Church. We were not able to have a graduation last year because of COVID, but we have 37 individuals who will be receiving their high school diploma from this accredited program, EL High School Academy, on August the 28th. They will have rehearsal on that morning. They'll have their graduation luncheon at midday. And then at 4 o'clock, they will return to Stewart Chapel to line up. And at 5 o'clock, we'll kick it off. Dr. Pitts is our official musician for the graduation ceremonies. He has been for a number of years, and he starts playing at 5 o'clock, and we just start marching in. It is a wonderful, wonderful occasion, and we encourage you to come and share in it. You will have to have your mask. You will not be admitted if you don't have your mask. And also, we will place we'll seat families close to each other, but we will try and place space between family groups, because we want to do our part in making sure that we don't become a super spreader event. So Join us on August 28th at 5. Come before, because that space fills up. Even though Stewart Chapel is a large church, the space fills up with us having 37 graduates, we're going to have a house full. So we're just very proud. For the first time, we're going to award an honorary high school diploma to a man named Mr. Johnny Birdsong, who is a Purple Heart recipient, which means he was injured in battle. And so he has always wanted his high school diploma. We are going to recognize him on that day with an honorary high school diploma. He will be dressed in his regalia just like everybody else, and he will have on his Purple Heart and all of his other medals that he has received. And we will express our gratitude for his service by awarding him an honorary high school diploma. And so that's one of the special things. But every student who graduates from EL High School has a special story. They have their own story as to why they did not finish. And the story usually has to do with the conditions around them or family conditions at the time that they dropped out of school or they were pushed out of school. And many are still being pushed out of school, unfortunately. But everyone is a success story. Every single one has overcome obstacles, and they do that old ugly cry, a real serious ugly cry that you do when you're just so happy and overcome at what you've been able to do. So we are just so thrilled at each one of these success stories. Some are going to college, some are going to technical school, some are going into the military, some are going to get a job, some have already gotten a job because the folks know that they're finishing up, and some are going to advance on their jobs. So we're just very, very proud of 37 people who will be graduating. And we want to thank our two super volunteers, Ms. Joyce Gray Humphrey and Ms. Mary Jane Glover, who are in our office and who are volunteering right now. So if you'd like to get your high school diploma from an accredited program, go by 624 Sherling Drive right now. You can get your application packet. And by the way, those who have not picked up your graduation cap, gown, invitations, all of that, we have them in the office waiting for you. Now, enough of that. I think I got it all in. We want to thank Reverend Mabel Randall, who says happy anniversary. And she says good afternoon. And so we're on Facebook Live, and y'all please share to let others, to remind others that we are on the air, that it is time for Ask Elaine, and we welcome your comments too, and we'll try and get to them and read them. But the first person that we're going to introduce to you is Miss Ernestine Wilson, and she's going to tell you about this exciting honor that she has received. So welcome to Ask Elaine. And then after we talk with Ms. Wilson, then we're going to talk to the Honorable Judge Pam White Colbert, who is our civil and magistrates judge for Macon-Bibb County. So we're just packed with energy in here today. These are powerful women that we are having as our guests, and we just appreciate you taking your time to be with us. Ernestine, we should call you Queen Mother, shouldn't we? Is that what we should call you?
Ernestine is fine.
All right, go ahead and tell us about this whole thing. This is just a wonderful story.
Yes, I traveled to Africa in 2017. I returned again in the year return. At that time, I became a Queen Mother in Ghana, located in Elmina, which is our sister city.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've been to Elmina. to the castle where they held the enslaved people, and that was the last point before they were loaded on the ships to be sent into slavery. And so it is when you're inside that castle, it is you just feel what it must have been like, and then you redouble your effort at making a difference at home. But to fly in and to be able to look out over the motherland, there's no feeling like that. It is just, it's something. So, once we get over COVID and some of this other stuff, then former Mayor Ellis just returned from Africa as well. We were glad to see him at the commission meeting last night. Tell us how you became a queen mother.
Well, actually, I was adopted into the royal family. During my stay, I met with Queen Nana, and she decided that she wanted to adopt me. As their relatives, I have the same rights as any other member of the family there. I was also given land in Ghana as well.
Oh my! So you, Judge, maybe we need to go. We can get adopted. You think they'll adopt us, and we'll get some land and some titles? But I witnessed Mayor Ellis being what was
He was installed.
installed.
Yes.
I witnessed his ceremony back in, I think it was year 2000, when we went to Elmina as a part of the Sister City program, and it was just a grand celebration, a ceremony. That it was something. I could imagine that yours was just as grand.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, it's coming up to your 20th anniversary since you've been in America.
Yeah, it was wonderful. It was wonderful. Just wonderful. And I would encourage. I found out that just recently in Elmina they've discovered oil.
Yes.
And that they're dedicating the majority of the monies from that those resources to health and education.
Yes.
So you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. Actually, they're with the monies from that oil. They're trying to build different libraries for the children in different schools in the communities.
Because children have to pay. They have to pay a tuition to go to school. There, we have free education, and we won't even, we will not go and get it. A lot of our folks don't value it, but those folks walk. Some walk great distances to get to school. Some of the schools that we visited, there was a teacher in a school room, and open, no windows really in it, and then the teacher was writing everything on this board, and the students were sitting there and they were copying everything. They didn't have individual books, many of them. They had the one book there. We took school supplies and we took medical supplies when we went previously, and they were just well received. And so I am just so happy, because that country, you could see the pride in people. You see a little lean-to house, just leaning, and someone would walk up out of there with braids just all neat and nice, and the guys just I don't know where they ironed or had everything all but they were just as neat and clean and professional looking as a coming out of a little shack, what we would call a little. So that's pride. That's people with pride. And I'm just so happy now with the discovery of that oil. They're going to be able to do for their folks as far as health care and education, which is going to make the difference. gonna make the difference. And so I'm just so pleased with that. Anything else you want to share with us?
Yes, ma'am. As you know, that People United is a group of people from the community have come together to give away meals each month. Next month, we'll be giving away 2 free meals to a family. So if they want, they can just contact me if you know a family that's in need, and we'll be giving away free meals each Sunday beginning in September. September the 1st will be at Elaine Lucas Senior Citizen Center. We will also be giving away 250 meals, 100 free gas cards to those people that
Oh my, that's great. That is great. Now, what we need for you to do is to add that information in the chat here so that people who are watching this, who are on Facebook Live now, can get that information. And then if you're listening on radio, then you can later on go to this Facebook, to this particular show, and get that information off of here. Tell us one more time what you're going to be giving away.
Well, I will be giving away 250 meals, 100 gas cards, not $100 on the gas card, but we will have 100 gas cards. Our very next location will be at the Adopt a Role Model program. We'll be there Monday, August the 23rd at 11 o'clock on 462 Pursley Street here in Macon, Georgia. So that's our next location. After that, we'll be at the Elaine Lucas Senior Citizens Center.
Yeah, that has a nice ring to it. That's but if you will share all that information and continue to share it, we will then take it and share it among the folks that are our friends on Facebook, because you need to know this information. Would you please press share? If you've just tuned in, you're watching Ask Elaine. We appreciate Rhonda Bird, who says good afternoon. Sherry Shannon Miller, that's your cousin. Yeah, Sherry Shannon Miller. She says happy anniversary. Yes, that's all right. Okay, but we have more folks, and they're kind of shy about making comments and stuff. But we welcome all of you here. Thank you so very much. And you're welcome to stay with us, and we're going to talk with the judge. We're going to go right into our chat with Judge, Civil and Magistrate Judge Pam White Colbert. And she's going to tell you a little bit about herself. And for those who don't know her, I don't know who that is, but for anybody, she's going to tell you about herself. And then she is going to, we're going to talk about the Civil and Magistrate Court.
Okay. Good afternoon. I'm Pam White Colbert. I am a lifelong citizen of Macon-Bibb County. I was born here in Macon and attended the public schools of Bibb County, graduated from Southwest High, and I went on to the University of Georgia, where I graduated there and came back home to Mercer and received my law degree at Mercer University, Walter F. George School of Law. I've been practicing law for over 34 years. I practiced at Georgia Legal Services first as a staff attorney. Then I went to the district attorney's office and I practiced there for almost 30 years. And I've been ran for election in 2018 and was elected the first female civil and magistrate judge of Bibb County. And I've been there for 3 years. And I'm married to the Reverend Marvin Colbert. I'm a mother of 2. And I'm active in my community.
Yes, you are. She is. She's everywhere, just like Anita Reynolds Howard is everywhere. She is everywhere. And you will find Black women are going to be that way. We just have always been activists, and it's not so much to sit and to just talk about what you're doing. We're actually out there doing what needs to be done in the community, and you certainly are. Plus, being the first lady of Bethel
AME.
AME, yeah, Bethel. I remember walking home from school and passing that church. So it's a historic
It
church in the
is.
Bellevue community. Y'all are doing an excellent
Mhm.
job.
I'm
To
also the missionary president there
Yeah,
too.
she's the missionary. Well, they say she has 5 jobs. She has 7 jobs. She has 10 jobs. But you take care of all of it
I try
because
my
you're
best.
committed, and that is great. All right. Um, Lisa, Pastor Watson, has an event. There's an event, free Moderna vaccine at her church, ELCC, on Houston Avenue, this Saturday from 3 to 5 p.m. You must be 18 years old with some form of ID, and you get your free vaccination. That is just so very important. She says, hello, Judge, well, you can read this. And Commissioner, she says we're great servant leaders, and she salutes us both. She is one of our regulars on here. She and Dr. Butler filled in while former mayor was in Africa just recently. But thank you all for tuning in. And the sponsor of that event at ELCC is Dr. Wade Scott and Scott's Pharmacy. And I do business. I get my prescriptions filled at Scott's Pharmacy, and we need to um, do business with Black businesses if at all possible. And Scott's has been in operation a long time, and they have sponsored many community events. So there's nothing bad you can say about them. It's all good. Scott's Pharmacy. So let's get back to Civil and Magistrate Judge, the Honorable Pam White Colbert, who is one of our special guests. And we wanted to thank the Queen Mother, Ernestine Wilson, for being here today. An elegant lady and really worthy of being that name. That's really an interesting story, and she's doing so much for the community. All right, now, Judge, civil and magistrate court. What are the main functions of civil and magistrates court?
We have two main functions. First, our first main function on the criminal side is we set bonds. We also have first appearance of people who've been arrested in Bibb County, as well as if they want a commitment hearing, we're the court that handles that first. So we're generally the first court that someone is arrested sees, unless it's a municipal court issue. The civil portion of it is that we handle, as I like to call our court, the people court. The majority of the cases we handle a lot of eviction, dispossessory cases, as well as civil suits. We also handle personal injury suits up to $15,000 if you file in the magistrate court, up to $25,000 if you file in the civil court. We handle contract disputes. We handle garnishments. We handle any small claim that you may have. We've handled from if you bought a car and something went wrong and there was a warranty on the car and the person didn't honor that warranty, they get sued. We handle if your tree fell on the neighbor's fence and you need to get that repaired in there, and you trying to make them do it. We handle those kind of cases. Like I said, from personal injury, where you've been in a car accident, we handle that too.
Okay. So there's a lot that goes on in the court. Tell us about the staff that you have.
I have 4 other judges, 2 who are attorneys and 2 who are non-attorneys. And the 2 non-attorney handle initial appearances and the bond issues. And I have 2 other attorneys that handle both. So it's me and 4 others. So it's 5 judges in my court. We have a clerk's office we have a clerk of court. We have 10 to 12 people in that office, and we have 2 assistants in the office with the judges, and we have 5 deputies. Our deputies serve all our lawsuit papers as well as handle dispossessory. So if someone is being set out, a deputy comes out on that set out. So they're there to do that as well as the execute search any warrants that we have, or any person who's filed paperwork on a lawsuit. They serve those items too.
Okay. So now, a lot of people have had questions about evictions, and we know that there's a moratorium in place now, and what does that mean?
What that means, Center of Disease and Control issued a moratorium last year saying when the COVID came out that they didn't want people to be put on the street because that could spread the COVID to more. So they were trying to keep people within their house. And part of the keeping them in the house, if people lost jobs, people were unemployed, some people were having a hard time getting the unemployment. So if they couldn't pay their rent for non-payment of rent, they executed what we call a declaration of uh, of the moratorium that they could file the paper. Anybody who's living in rental property who's not able to pay their rent because their income has been lowered because of job loss. If they didn't pay their rent, they had a chance of being homeless. So they can pull this off of the internet, the paperwork, they can write it down and bring it to the court if an eviction is filed on them for non-payment of rent. Now, there are some exceptions to the CDC, such as that if you've got criminal activity going on in your house, it does not apply to you. If there's a lease violation or there's damage to the property, it does not apply. If the property is being foreclosed on or the lease is run out, the CDC does not apply to that tenant. And along with that, it's been several extensions of the moratorium. It was currently scheduled to end on July 31st, but President Biden extended it through the CDC. With the CDC also extended it through October 3rd. So people who have a CDC order in place do not have to renew it. We won't handle those cases. Those cases were continued until the CDC is over. So I figure we're getting close to about 500 cases in Bibb County of people who have filed for the CDC moratorium. So those cases are on hold until this moratorium is ended. But the good thing that's happened during that period of time with the American Protective Act that came out in February, people can apply for rental assistance. So you can get almost 12 months up to rent paid for. If you have less than that, they can pay that what's owed as well as 3 months prospectively. So you can get 3 months more of rent to stay in your house. And I really want to express that to the community because there was millions of dollars that were given to the state.
Oh yeah,
and
it's still sitting there.
And the money is there, and people need to apply for it. And that way, you won't be put out of your house. You won't have an indebtedness. You won't have a judgment for that amount of money. But also understand it's a voluntary program for both the landlord as well as the tenant.
You both have to agree
both have
to be a part of it.
Both have to agree. And if the tenant does their part and the landlord does their part, then they can get that money. I had a case even on Monday where a tenant received over $4,700 for back rent that was paid directly to the landlord. That's the plus of the program. It goes directly to the landlord, not to the tenant, but the tenant has to do their part and the landlord has to do theirs. And I say voluntarily because sometimes you have one party who may not be as cooperative, but we want everybody to understand it's there for the tenant as well as the landlord. And we encourage people to call United Way, call 211, and they can assist you in directing you where you need to go. Georgia Legal Services has navigators that will help you fill out all the paperwork and help you to upload any documents, and now they can tell you where you are in the process. There are other agencies in Macon. The program is administered in Georgia by the Department of Community Affairs, but locally the Economic Opportunity Council is an administrator. Family Advancement Ministries, Salvation Army. There are other people that can help you navigate this paperwork and make sure it gets done, it's done correctly, and the money gets to the landlord to pay the rent.
Okay, so if you found yourself in a situation where there's hardship for you, then you need to contact EOC, or you could call United Way, and their number is 211. That is the helpline number that United Way. A lot of people unaware of everything. We got to talk to United Way about kind of letting people know in some better ways about all the services, because United Way, we at Macon Bibb just approved $4 million to go to United Way to use at the warming center to keep it going. And so that's going to guarantee that that warming center with all of those wonderful services will be in place and will be financially secure for a number of years. So United Way, that's, you know, we've all given all of these years on our jobs to United Way, and we need to, if there's an opportunity now to benefit from some of those programs, and many of all of us will never ever need any of these programs, but when you do need them, just understand that it, in most cases, it's your money that's just coming back to you to help you when you need it. That's, I know that's American Rescue money, CARES money, all of that money, and this rental assistance money is just your money that you paid at some time, whether you paid sales tax, whether it was property tax, whether it was, you know, your federal income tax, your state tax, whatever. It's your money. And these programs are set up to benefit you. So take advantage of them. And we're going to post some of this information on this site too, so that when you go back and you can review this program, and Pastor Lisa says that United Way is wonderful. It's community resource. And that's 211 for United Way. Maria Bryant with the NAACP is on, and she says, good afternoon. And Pastor Lisa says, support businesses that support us. And I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. Those that support you, those that hire your folks, those are the businesses that you need to support. So if you want to call us, if you have a question or a comment that you want to make of Judge Colbert, please give us a call at 478-250-1444. And we want to especially express our appreciation to the fine folks here at 980 and also at 107.9. They are so gracious and so kind to us when we get in and set you up so nicely. And so that's why they're gaining more and more people wanting to have shows on these stations. And so we salute them and thank them for all that they are doing. And it's a Black business. They're Black business owners. And so if you are a Black business owner and you need some support, you need some information on something, Macon-Bibb County has a small business development arm of government, and the director is Ms. Sharice Stevens. And you can call Macon-Bibb and ask for her, and she will be glad to work with you on getting your business up and going, with helping you to connect with resources to help you to stay in business and to help you to expand your business and to help you to do business with local government, state government. Because you can imagine how many ink pens Macon-Bibb buys. How many you buy in your office? There's a gob of them. All of the different goods and services that are purchased by government. And if you've got a small business and you can provide some of that, you need to be on the list so that you receive the information and you're told that it's time for you maybe to apply to provide these goods and services. So keep that in mind, and don't just sit around and say they aren't doing anything for me. They don't ever do anything but spend my tax money and stuff. That's not the case. But you need to take advantage of the programs that are there for you. Okay. I was trying to make sure that we had mentioned all of the comments that we have, and we thank all of you for being there. Judge, the different positions that you have in your office, what are those positions? Because, I mean, every department has different positions. People just think, well, there are judges there, but there are other positions too. So,
We have clerks, we have deputy clerks, we have deputies, actual sheriff deputy. We have mandated officers that, they're mandated by the Bibb County Sheriff Department. So they have powers of arrest. We have office assistants who are in our office. So my office is about 29 people.
mhm.
And I also want to mention before I forgot, with the rental assistant, you also can get utility assistant too.
Right, right.
So a lot
Yeah.
of people don't know that too, but I know EOC has been good about the energy assistant programs with water, water, electricity, and gas. They're also doing water now, but the the rental assistant program also provides for assistance because some people have gotten behind on their utilities.
Mhm.
I know there was a moratorium with the power company for a little bit last year, but they're back up and they're saying we want our monies. So they can also apply for that if they have heating costs
Mhm.
or electrical costs, especially with this hot summer now. I'm sure the
Yes.
utility bills will go up
Yes.
even more. So they can apply for those same things from the Department of Community Service out of this money that came out in February to get relief from that also.
Okay, so there are a lot of services that are available to you, and we try to bring you that information, but you've got to get the information and use it. They're not going to let us come and apply for you. You are going to have to go and apply for yourself, and we just try and make this information available. The NAACP, and I know it's Gwen Westbrook, I've talked with her recently, and she has talked for a while about setting up sort of a clearinghouse where if people have questions and have needs or concerns, that NAACP can respond to those and send them in the right place. So as many of those different kinds of agencies as we can have, the better off we are, because a lot of people just don't know.
And I like to say knowledge is power.
It is. It
If
most
you know,
certainly is.
and that's why I wanted to be on today to spread the word about the rental assistance program because it can help our community. And those, it's sad when money is there and it can help and you
Yeah.
don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that money, that money is going somewhere. Somebody's going to get it and spend it. So be sure that in those times that you have a need, that you utilize it. Because think in terms of it being your money, just being reprogrammed for to help you. And a lot of families have been assisted during this time of the pandemic, and people being out of work and kids being home from school and all of that. There have been a lot of families that have been helped by some of these programs.
And not only the tenant, but I have to say, I see, I'll call them mom and pop landlords. They may only have 2 or 3 properties, but that's where they get their income from. And if they don't get rent, then they don't get money, and then they face foreclosure. And so they're placed in a bad position. And, this helps them maintain their flow of income. So if you're a small owner of a home that you rent out and that resource dries up, it affects your living too.
It does. It sure does. It sure does. Give us a call, 478-250-1444. You've tuned in to Ask Elaine. We have a few more minutes to talk with Civil Magistrate Judge Pam, the Honorable Pam White Colbert, who has so graciously consented to come on the show today. We had Queen Mother of Elmina in earlier, Miss Ernestine Wilson, who shared with us her experiences in Elmina Ghana. And so she was a wonderful, wonderful guest, and that was good information. And she is doing things to help the community. So we'll share that information on the chat here. And then, of course, the judge. If you have questions or comments, please call us 478-250-1444. Judge, when someone is accused of something, what is the process that your
Well, typically for us, we do the arrest warrants.
Mhm.
So officers will bring the arrest warrant to our office, and our judges will review the elements of the warrant and make sure that the elements are there to prove for the probable cause for the crime. So they swear them in and make sure that what they're saying in the warrant is correct. And so once we issue the warrant, that starts the process. Um, so we issue warrants as well as search warrant if there's something, in regards to the crime, we need DNA or weapons or something of that nature. We also issue search warrants too. So that's one of the things the criminal side of my office does.
Which means that you would have to have people who work all of the different hours.
Yes, we work. We're in court 6 days a week for people who are arrested. So we're in court from Monday through Saturday, each day dealing with criminal issues, as well as we have a magistrate judge on call for all 24 hours during the week. So we're always there if an officer wants us. One of the best things we've been able to do during the pandemic is we have what we call cloud gavel, which is electronic warrants. So we can do them online, and so the officers don't have to come to our judge's house in the middle of the night unless it's a search warrant or something like that. But they can go ahead and do it online with the e-warrants that we've updated to do.
Well, good. Let's talk about how you've upgraded the court, because there was talk during the campaign about upgrading.
Well, we have done a complete overhaul of all of our electronic equipment, from computers to e-warrants to anything that would assist us to be more efficient. That's been a big push of ours. We were blessed and fortunate that just about every computer since I've been there has been replaced. And so we had to also, when I came in, we were upgrading our e-court system. So when people want to look up their cases, they can go online and look and see what the status of their case. They can find out what the court date is. So that is one thing that was in place, but we had to work out the bugs because it was brand new when I started January 1st, 2019. So that is up and running and doing what we, expected to do, as well as making sure that each judge is equipped with a phone. Before I started, they didn't have phones. They didn't have that capacity to call. They actually were using a pager, which I hadn't used in many years. But now, we, like I said, between the computers, the e-warrants, the phones, we have completely upgraded to where we're available. We can be located at any time for an officer who's trying to pursue a suspect or trying to get a search warrant. We're available to them.
Now, let's talk before we run out of time. Let's talk a little bit about there are people who have a legitimate concern. Let's say somebody does some work at your house and you pay them, and then the work later on is found to be less than what you paid for. Would that be something that someone could take a person to small claims court for?
They can do that. We tell them you can bring, mechanical problems. I've dealt with those, and we advise them bring in, all your paperwork. Bring in any expert. A lot of times with mechanical problems, we'll tell people to bring in an expert, like another mechanic who can address how this problem wasn't fixed, how it should have been fixed, what they should have done. So we can, it's just not I believe, but there's somebody who said this is what it should be.
Yeah.
So people do that. We have some good people who are not lawyers who come in and they prove their case very well, and they have the phone calls or text messages, and I especially tell them in eviction court when you come in, bring your lease, because we don't know what was said or what was agreed upon,
Right.
and if the landlord is asking for anything extra, I need to see it. And so that, sometimes I have more tenant will bring their lease than the landlords, and that's something that I insist upon because I can't rule without the evidence.
Right.
And so you got, car, home, issues with something you purchased and there was guarantees made. It's not, we got to look at all the evidence. So I can't tell you before we look at everything from every side what the judgment will be, but it's better to have everything than to have nothing.
Yeah. So that's one more thing that citizens need to take advantage of. But knowledge is power, and if you don't know, then you can't utilize that. But now you're learning. You're on Ask Elaine, and you're learning about the duties and the responsibilities and the services that are provided by civil magistrates court. If someone is being sued for something, does your office deliver the
If you come in,
paperwork?
if you file a lawsuit in our office, then our sheriff department will go out and serve that paper on the person that you're suing. That's a part of the fee that you pay.
Okay. So if you have a question, we still have a few more minutes. 478-250-1444. How many judges did you say you have?
I have 4 additional judges.
Four judges. And then you handle cases
I do.
yourself. And remind us once again of the kinds of cases that your court can
We
handle.
do dispossession, which is our eviction. We do personal injury. We do contract disputes. We do the initial appearances when you're arrested, as well as commitment hearings to determine whether there's probable cause for that arrest.
Okay, so we've been talking with our very, very special guest, my sorority sister, the Honorable Pam White Colbert. It's been an honor. It's been a pleasure having her here. She she's talked more about the civil magistrates court than she has the first lady duties, and then the missionary duties. You want to mention just a little bit about these last few minutes?
Yes, I especially want to share with everybody that Bethel AME Church at 3607 Earl Street, we're having a vaccination drive on August 25th from 9 to 11. We also will be giving away 30 gift cards if you come out and get your vaccine. So we're encouraging everybody to come out to get their shots. We're in the Bellevue community, so we have a lot of walk-up people. So you can walk up, you can drive up, but we'll be available in our fellowship hall. We're co-sponsoring with the medical center. I believe it's Moderna and Pfizer that we'll be offering for those vaccines. So it's free. Just come on next Tuesday, I believe it is, from 9 to 11 at Bethel AME at 3607. As far as a missionary, we help in the community. We just helped a family of 9 with the conference who were burnt out. So we were able to help supply the needs. They were asking for sheets and towels and tissue and paper goods, and we were able to help. We've also helped with the district attorney's office in supplying bassinets. This past Saturday.
They have that project.
Yes. So we have connected with them. We have adopted a school. Normally we have an adopted school. Brookdale was our adopted school before they became the warming center. So we have donated water, whatever they need, as well as the Daybreak Center.
And the question is, when do you sleep? That's the question. But busy people are always busy. They're always doing stuff, always have stuff to do. Oh, you can tell by that music and that theme song
that our time is up, but we have had a wonderful show today. I hope you think so. And thank you so much for tuning in. Pastor Lisa says it's very informative, and the others say that it was a good show. So we appreciate that. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you tuned in on AM or FM, or if you tuned in on here on Facebook Live. We just appreciate you. Please share this so that others will get all of this information, and you go back and review the information so that you can fill in any blanks that you may have as far as this information. And please share about the rental assistance and the utilities assistance. It can help so many families. So thank you so much for tuning in. We will be back here again next Wednesday from 3 to 4 for another edition of Ask Elaine. And we encourage you to do something for somebody else, because it'll all come back. Before you know it, you look up, it's going to be right there. We'll see you again next week for another edition of Ask Elaine.
Connecting the community through gospel.